right, good morning, everyone. We're a minute late, 11:01 Eastern Daylight Time. Time to open the Plat Committee meeting for the City of Westfield, Washington Township Planning Commission. If staff could please first confirm the presence of a quorum.
Excuse me. Mr. Horkin.
Here.
Miss Morgan. Here. Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Pierce.
Here.
Mr. Wiley.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Excellent. See in here we have a membership oaths.
That is
Is that
correct.
really,
That is correct. So
is there something different than last year? We need to,
we have to actually have a signed oath. I
Okay.
think that previously we haven't been signing the oaths.
okay. Do we need to do that actually during the meeting or just acknowledge that it's going to happen and we'll sign it afterwards?
Yes. I believe we just acknowledge that it's happening.
Okay, everybody don't leave immediately after the meeting because we have a signature required.
Mandy will chase you down otherwise.
We don't want that. We do officially have to elect officers because this is our first meeting of 2025. We have an office of president and vice president. Do we have anybody really highly motivated to occupy either chair? All speak at once. Is the vice president willing to continue doing the vice president's duties?
Oh, that's what we talked about.
Okay, the president would be, in the absence of somebody else who really wants the position, willing to continue as well. Shall we move to retain current officers by acclamation of some sort?
I'll make a motion. Retain officers.
I will second the motion.
Motion and second from Michael Pierce and Haley Morgan. Everybody in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed or abstaining? Officers continue. As far as I know, there's no changes to the agenda unless staff has brought something.
No changes other than the two items that we just went through.
Approval of minutes of the December 16th, 2024 meeting is item next. Is there a motion regarding these minutes?
Make a motion to approve the December 16th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second that.
Motion by Justin Wiley, seconded by Brian Kelly. We're all here, we do a voice vote. Everybody in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed or abstaining? Minutes are approved. If staff could please review today's rules of procedure.
Rules for public hearing items. For items requiring a public hearing, today's meeting has the following structure. The department will summarize the petition, then the petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present to the Plat Committee. The president will open a public hearing. Individuals will be given 3 minutes to speak. Those representing a group will be given 5 minutes to speak. For efficiency purposes, we ask that those representing a group speak first. Looks like we only have one person, so not super pressing. The public hearing will be closed when all interested members of the audience have had a chance to be heard, and all emails received during the meeting have been provided to committee members. The petitioner will then be given 10 minutes to respond to comments without interruption. The committee will follow with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the petition. This may include additional discussion with the petitioner. Finally, the committee may then act upon the petition. Rules of conduct: please do not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, we ask that you please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time if you must answer them. Again, please quietly exit the room. If you're attending in person and wish to speak in regards to a petition scheduled for a public hearing, please sign the speaker sheet located at the front. During your comments, please state your name and address for the record, and we ask that you do not repeat previously stated comments. Your presentation will be timed and you'll be advised when there are approximately 30 seconds remaining. For those who are not attending in person and would like to give comments regarding a petition, please email them to planners@westfield.in.gov with the petition name or number included in the subject line. Those comments will be forwarded to committee members and the petitioner. Thank you.
Thank you. No item of business, but we do have two public hearing items. First of which is petition 2501-SPP-01, Spring Mill Trails Marketplace. If staff can introduce, and if there's any further comments from petitioner, we will hear those and then have a public hearing.
Excellent. So the item before you is the primary plat review of a 5-lot commercial subdivision on 19.23 acres in the Spring Mill Trails PUD district. I'll zoom in and presentation mode. I cannot. Okay. Yeah, this new website is, please bear with me while I download this. Okay. Sorry. All right, so this is located at, on 32 between Ditch Road and Casey Road. And then Tournament Trail will be continued through the development. So we're looking at this time, the establishment of 3 lots, so lot 1, lot 2, and lot 3, and then 2 blocks. So 1 block will be up here around the detention, and then 1 block will be down here. Of course, as items develop, as this area develops out, this block will be subdivided into further lots depending on what's necessary by whoever's looking at the land. As part of this, they did include a landscape plan. This is something that I requested for this 32 Greenway requirement. Not necessarily a requirement for the primary plat, as this is just looking at the lots created. Yeah, we'll be adding trails along all required roadways. We'll be dedicating right-of-way for Tournament Trail, and then along Casey Road. Are there any questions?
Is there any further definition regarding the former right-of-way for Ditch Road on the east side of the site?
Oh, on Casey Road where it
Casey,
ends?
yeah.
I do not know. Probably something Public Works will figure out.
Okay.
Through the
not
final
urgent.
plating process.
Not urgent for today's meeting, but I was just wondering, because we had a little discussion on that at the agenda meeting. Anybody, is there any further comments? Is there anybody?
Andy, do you have anything to add? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm here with Kinley Horn, Andy Taylor. Happy to ask or answer any questions. I guess we've been talking about this project a little bit with Michael and DPW. We did dedicate the right of way on the west side of the property line for Casey Road. That actually, there's an adjoining property to the east, so we don't own or control that property to the east.
Sure.
We're making provisions for it now.
All right, this item does require a public hearing. Reminder for the totality of the meeting, if there is anybody online that is interested in making a comment, please quickly email planners@westfield.in.gov. So we will be able to read your comments and enter them into our record. Right now it is 11:10, and I will open a public hearing on this item. Is there anybody that is present that wants to make a comment just now? Is our inbox empty, or do we
It
have?
is looking empty.
We'll hold till 11:12, I guess, probably. If there's anybody out there typing, please type fast and furiously and at least send us a note that you want to make a comment if you can't complete it quickly. And we'll move on.
Nope.
Most enjoyable parts of the meeting here. Waiting for potential comments from virtual attendees. seconds away from 11:12 a.m. If the inbox is still empty. I'm gonna close the public hearing at 11:12. Any further thoughts that have come to anybody in this period of time that you'd like to ask? If not, there are two comments, fairly boilerplate standard comments from staff regarding the approval, that the approvals by Public Works of any construction standard waivers, if applicable, and that all necessary approvals be obtained from the Westfield Public Works Department and Hamilton County Surveyor's Office prior to the issuance of an improvement location permit should be conditions on our approval. Is there a motion with these or any other comments that anybody might have? Do we have a motion? Someone please.
I will move to approve petition number 2501-SPP-01 with the addition of the two comments, or the two, yes,
Conditions.
conditions, there we go.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second of staff for approval with the two conditions as noted by the department staff. If you could please call the roll.
Ms. Morgan,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Wiley,
Yes.
Mr. Horke.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Moving on,
Dane, would you like to drive for this one?
I can.
we have another petition, 2502-SPP-02 and 2502-ODP-01, Woodwind East.
Good afternoon, Dane Crabtree with the Community Development Department. The item before you is the primary plat and overall development plan for the Woodwind East project, for which 183 single-family lots on 136.2 acres is proposed within the Woodwind East PUD. This may look quite familiar as it did just go through the rezone process. I believe it was early this year, late 2024, I can't recall, but this item did receive its technical advisory committee review at the January 21st meeting, and plans have been deemed compliant per zoning by community development and are also in shape where Public Works has deemed the project ready for approval as well. This item does require a public hearing, which has been properly noticed and advertised, and the department has received no public comments. Jeremy Lawler, on behalf of Old Town, is present to just give a brief overview of maybe any sort of specific things that were required in the PUD that this also entails, or things of that nature. So, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crabtree. I guess PUD requirements are primarily the buffer zones and specific to landscaping in the buffer areas. All have been included. It's typically, I guess generally speaking, it's adjacent to the existing large lot, single-family residential that's out there. So we'll be installing 6 to 8 foot mounds adjoining all those neighbors with a buffer yard B type plantings. As you can see there, it's been accounted for in the primary plat. Other than that, we have been working with the city for the better part of a year in partnership with Mr. Deck as the facility manager for the golf course. And we are excited to get started on the project later this year.
Thank you. Before we open the public hearing, Mr. Deck, do you have anything else that might be relevant to hear? If not, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing.
Just echo Jeremy's remarks with regards to being excited with regards to the very unique collaboration out at Woodwind.
Thank you. All right, opening a public hearing at 11:16 a.m.
I think we do have somebody in the audience who wants to
So,
speak.
yep.
May I please, hi.
Please, yeah, state your name,
Good
address for
morning,
the
everybody.
record, and
I'm Karna Baker. I'm at 1816 West 161st. I am on the south end of that project. I am adjacent to the chunk that proceeds to the west. And I've been in Colorado and Washington the last 2 months, so I did miss the 21st meeting. My concern about all this is, and I've heard you say you've offered buffer zones, we still have a substantial issue with drainage out there. The John Edwards regulated ditch, I have got paperwork on that from the county going back to, I think 2016, 14, 13, where that is undersized. They cannot account for all the water that goes through there. It's made worse by every driveway, every house, etc. I'm concerned because of all of this. I'm on a low land on this property, and I'm hoping that things are mitigated properly so I don't get the runoff into my property. We still have clay tiles that we've maintained. They've been upgraded with different materials from the west to the east, and from that your southwest corner of that property, we get hammered by water. I've got pictures that I can also prove where the water, it looks like there's a lake back there. It continues onto my property. I'm very concerned about runoff and how that's going to be maintained. The same thing when it goes to the project continuing on the west of the golf course. Pulte back in 2014, 15, 16 met with us consistently. They also proceeded to talk to us with what their development was proposed. After 2 years before Cook denied it and county approved it, Township, Westfield County approved it, Cook denied it, said he couldn't go forth in his conscience with this. Pulte contacted everybody. They were very conscientious of our property owners that have the larger parcels of land. I'm on 16. It goes 16, 8, 16, I think another 8, 10, and then a 5. We're worried about that, all of us. 2 neighbors down from me have got horses. The next door neighbor to me has got cattle and animals. We're still concerned about what this development intends to do and how it's going to affect our land. I'm hoping somewhere along the line that you guys reach deeper and look into the considerations of water issues, which are substantial. Drains are closed on 161st that do not drain south. That would be between Berkman and myself and the ditch. Van Atta lives across the street. Dubois lives across the street south of me. Those drains do not open and go to that ditch over there. Everything from the neighborhood, I can't remember what the name of it is, on the southeast side of me, where the Davis farm used to be, goes into a massive culvert, goes under the bridge, or under the road, under 161st, comes to the north side of the road, and is so bad, it is a lake. The water's so bad and that ditch rolls backwards. There was a hydro study done back in 16, 17, 15, right in through there, and I've got the papers on it. I'm worried about what this neighborhood's going to impact my land with water, as well as buffer zones. And I've got a couple of ideas that Pulte presented, which was amicable for everybody for the golf course, to respect our land, to keep a buffer zone, to keep our property looking like it should, without having a golf path on the property line and whatever debris comes with that into my house, or into my yard. I hope there's another opportunity to talk. Like I said, Old Town has not talked to us once. We've gotten mail, but nobody's done the courtesy of knocking on the door, shaking a hand and say, hey, do you have anything you're worried about? Not one conversation, and going on 2.5 years. I think that's pitiful. So hopefully you guys as council members will respect what we've had and appreciate it. We are getting so crowded in this whole complete neighborhood, schools, roads. If you're not paying attention to the fire department coming south on 161st, they can't make a turn if they're gonna head west. We don't have the accommodations for what we've got that's getting impacted in this whole complete area. We're getting as bad as Fishers, which is crowded. All right, I hope somebody calls me and talks to me about what they can do to enhance my property. I hope you please take consideration into the water. We've got substantial issues out here with the clay and no drainage. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything in the inbox? Is there any virtual attendee that was written to us?
Does not appear so.
And I'm gonna close the public hearing at 11:21. Is there some input that we can offer at this point in time from Old Town, city, or others regarding how on-site drainage is handled and detained?
Yeah, I can speak to the drainage. So in compliance with the city and county standards, we're capturing and releasing at the appropriate rate. As far as sheet flow across her property, we are capturing in the ponds and then outletting down here in this south east corner. So all drainage filters through, comes through, and outlets here, and then we'll have an off-site access to the ditch itself. So in theory, based on hydraulics, it will improve your drainage across the backside because you don't have these 180 or 130 acres sheet draining across your
May I
property.
ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. If you go to that northwest corner of that chunk, across the street on 166th Street, there's a drain that opens up headed north. I don't know if that's the way the water flows, but if you've got gravity and those are maintained differently, it can go that way. That south end of the property cannot take any more water. I'm wondering what you're basing your water drainage on, because the flood zone A, B, C through there, used to be flood zone Z on the corner of our property, or C. Now we're up to B and A. It is exponentially widened. It's supposed to be 75 feet both sides top of the bank. It goes over that tenfold. If you go down that street right now, because of the impact of water, Kemmer's fence is completely down. They've got Penrod fencing, part of its age, and I'm sure part of it's rot. But with the water impact that cannot be cleared from the north side of the road going south, it does not go through. Like I said, I've got pictures of the water rolling backwards under the John Edwards ditch. County made a mistake when they built that bridge. They did not make it to the height and length desired, and part of the reason was because county gave an approval to what back then was the Johnson plot next to us. They've got 8 acres adjoining my property. County came to us and we fought for a year with them. They wanted a permanent easement from our driveway over to, I don't know what these new people are, it was Clark's at the time, so it went Johnson's, Josie, George, and then these new people now. We did not grant the permanent easement. County made a mistake by giving that driveway cut. It was a landlocked piece of property. So no driveway cut, 75 feet both sides top of the bank is regulation. County gave Johnson's that cut. That driveway and the culvert right there is probably 8 foot deep. It does not come off of my property and go under theirs or go to the bridge and go out south end. There's a substantial water issue. Whatever you let go on that side, going to my property, Kemmer's property, and the people here on that end, I have no idea where you're gonna dump that water. I really don't. The neighborhood to the west, or excuse me, to the east, the new one on Ditch Road over there, all that goes right down through here and goes this way. And if you'd like, I've got like I said, I've got the county minute meetings from when I used to go up to the county and listen to this. And
No,
they finally stated,
I appreciate and respect what you're saying.
you don't have any other way to move that water.
We are moving it the direction that the county
Yeah.
has suggested, and I don't have any jurisdiction over what the county decides to do.
Is there the possibility that you could question them and maybe have an alternative presented, or is it too far into the planning process to amend it?
Without pumping water, stormwater, we can't go the other way because the natural terrain of the development comes this way.
Yep.
Which is why you have the pooling of water, which is why we're gonna capture all of that and release it at the controlled rate.
How are you gonna capture and control your ponds?
Sorry,
Yeah, so
the
the
public
detention
hearing has
system.
been closed, this isn't a Q&A session at this point. And
Pardon me?
The public hearing has been closed and this isn't a Q&A
Oh, when I
session.
asked if I could make a
She
question, I was,
could
I'm
speak, we're
sorry.
gonna let her go.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
And
acknowledge
Okay,
that,
thank
but
you.
this is
So
going
the
a
problem
little
is for
more.
the board, this isn't,
I
it's all
understand.
outside of our
I'd love to
jurisdiction.
talk to you if you've got
Happy to
time
talk
to
to you
come
afterward.
visit.
And
Just
We haven't talked to
as a-
anybody.
I'm also a city engineer, so I'll happy to be talked to you outside of
Please.
this meeting as
Oh,
well
thank
too.
you.
So
Okay.
this just, that we don't really, this
Okay,
isn't our jurisdiction to kind of talk about, and final engineering also isn't completed at this
Okay.
point, so we
As
Yeah,
the
but
we
plat
can have
committee,
an offline conversation.
drainage is not part of what we are doing. This is strictly a land decision.
on top of it, okay.
But thanks for
Buffer
letting us
zones,
know
et cetera.
there could be impacted problems down the road, so somebody's gotta alert county, which I'm sure they know about from, but
It's been ignored for a while.
people change, you know?
Yes.
And then nobody knows anything about it, so
Yes,
it needs to be brought back to their attention. And especially if we have something coming on and discharging into that and you're saying there's an issue.
So do
Then
you
we
as
gotta reach
council
out to
members present that to them? Who brings up the issue to pursue this concern?
You
Me
would as a
today?
landowner, but obviously
Yeah.
engineering can as well, saying, hey, we just approved this and we've got a landowner that's saying that, let's try to maybe set a meeting up for
Yeah.
you that.
Public Works would review all of their stormwater calculations and drainage reports as part of their engineering drawing submittal, so as part of that, they're required to capture their water on site in ponds that detains it and then releases it at a lesser rate than what it currently exists. So we review all of those calculations and things as part of their submittal, and the county surveyor is also involved in that because they're outletting into a regulated drain. So it'd be a cooperative effort where we would both review those
Okay.
calculations as part of that.
Alright,
And this new development's also not allowed to drain onto your property. You know, it's gotta go through certain stuff. You
so
can't
stated,
put water onto somebody else's land.
so stated, I understand what you're saying, but it hasn't happened that way.
Yeah,
But
sounds
there
like
also hasn't been a development that has come along to enact this kind of a fix.
Yeah,
Whatever
now-
it is that's
now
happening
is your
is
time
something that
to
has been just
Pursue it.
an
Yes.
accumulation of over time of land that maybe is
Thank you.
eroded in some manner, and water is going places where it didn't used to go. But as a part of what Old Town will be doing to develop this site, as was just explained, they can't just allow something to enter your property. If something doesn't go as planned, there will be a remedial fix that will have to be investigated, but before the dirt starts to move, this will all be reviewed, and we, in this body, are not responsible for drainage, we can't make
I
a
understand.
requirement of it, but the people that will be responsible for doing something like that are present, and apparently they weren't as aware of your concerns that you need to have addressed as would have been helpful, but they are now.
So based on what I said and what you said with studies and looking at this, does that bring forth concern to the top of the property with buffer zones that may need to be increased based on concerns about a pond maybe being too small and not having the appropriate containment?
But this will be something that,
This is an offline
Okay.
conversation
Yeah.
we can have after the meeting if you wanna ask your questions, but for purposes of this meeting, we should really only be discussing what's before
Okay.
this body.
and buffers aren't
Okay,
drainage, buffers are for a different purpose. So
okay.
what you're asking about is
Gentlemen, I
something
hope
that's
to hear from
important
both of
and-
you then, please.
Stick
Thank
around
you.
afterwards.
Yeah, I will.
Alright.
Thank you all.
No,
Are there any other concerns to bring up at this point in time? If not, this item is ready for action with the same two conditions provided by staff as the previous one, that the approval by Public Works of any construction standards waivers if applicable, and that any necessary approvals be obtained from the Westfield Public Works Department and the Hamilton County Surveyor's Office prior to the issuance of an improvement location permit, which prior to that happening would be the kinds of things that will address your concerns. So we have those same two conditions on approval. Is there a motion regarding the approval of this inclusive of those two comments or conditions?
Make a motion to approve petition 2502 SPP 02, 2502 ODP 01, as presented with the stipulations the conditions mentioned previously are met.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for approval with the two conditions as included in the staff report. If staff could please call the roll.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Wiley,
yes.
Mr. Workett,
Yes.
Ms. Morgan.
Yes.
It is approved.
There will be contact made to set up a meeting at some point. You can
I
wait
would
here
like
and
to-
catch after the meeting.
Who, do you want me, who would I call, please,
Just
to make,
wait in the lobby, they'll see you on the way out.
oh, okay,
We have about
Or you
5
can wait
minutes
there.
left of this meeting.
alright, thank you.
So there's no items continued to a future meeting. Is there any report or comment from Plat Committee members for each other? Plan Commission liaison, there's nothing I'm aware of from Plan Commission that's about to hit this group. Do we have a any agenda items that are in the works that we're not aware of yet to bring up at this point in time for planning or?
Yes, so to my knowledge, I just checked this morning, the only SPP, primary plat or overall development plan we have on deck is for Kimblewick.
Okay.
That was a more in-depth process at the APC phase.
That was.
But I am not sure of the timing on that. We have,
It,
oh,
it hasn't even been attacked yet, so.
oh yeah, of course. So yeah, it won't be
So
at
we will
this
not-
upcoming meeting, but
So we will only have one meeting in March.
correct.
Be ready for a possibility of a meeting in April.
April or even May, depending.
Economic and Community Development Department, any words of wisdom for us?
Nope, after this meeting, don't forget to stop by and sign your oath.
Yes. Okay. That completes our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Everybody in favor of adjourning? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there anybody opposed or abstaining from adjourning? We're adjourned at 11:32. Signatures begin.
Bob, could you mark, do you know when the,
Yes,
when
same.
public hearing?
Same. I feel like I'm just like